Well, Jim, let's just start with the good news about Sam Dalby. Must be delighted for him. He's really starting to find his feet and hit his stride in Scottish football.
Yeah, I'm absolutely delighted for Sam. His commitment to come up to Scotland has been repaid as far as we're concerned. I've got great belief in the big fella. That's why we work so hard to try and bring him to the club. I think his game is really suited to the Scottish Premiership. People would look at him and think he's a 6'3" target man, but he's a lot more than that. He's technically very good, links the game up well. Decent mobility for a big lad as well, and always trying to get into the right areas when the ball is in wide areas to try and get on the end of crosses, and scored a lot of important goals for us up to now. He had a great month obviously in November, and really pleased for him that he's got that recognition.
You'll be hoping he'll be one of many key players for another huge game this weekend. Just give us your thoughts going into it.
Yeah, I mean, look, always a difficult game against Kilmarnock. I know they're going through a little bit of a sticky patch at the moment, and results haven't been great, and obviously they find themselves at the wrong end of the table. But it's still very, very tight when you consider the top 6 places to the teams down near the bottom. There's a couple of wins, and all of a sudden these teams can find themselves back up in the mix. So I was at the game last night. I was at Ibrox. I thought Kilmarnock in the first 45 minutes actually done quite well. The shape of the team was good, and they contained Rangers. There wasn't a whole lot of goalmouth action. I thought in the second half it was very different. Rangers obviously upped the tempo, played with a bit more speed, and I think Kilmarnock, the injury to Wright at the back obviously played a part. He's a big player for them, a leader, and suffered a head knock prior to going off, and looked as if that was the signal from the referee that the head knock has made him unable to continue, and I think they lost a little bit of shape then after that. And Rangers were very good in the second 45, and obviously Derek McInnes will be looking for a reaction, and we know what that's about because we witnessed it ourselves down at Rugby Park, where in the last fixture for 45 minutes we were really good, had great control in the game, were winning at half time, and obviously Derek had some harsh words with his players, and they came out like a different team in the second 45 and turned the game on its head within 15 minutes and found themselves 3-1 in front. So that message has been firmly put to the players that we don't underestimate Kilmarnock. Their form will have to turn at some point, and we need to make sure that it's not this weekend against us.
I mean, was that almost the worst result from your point of view that they could have had last night, getting a doing like that? Because it's the old wounded animal argument, isn't it? They'll be coming up here desperate to make amends, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. It can work both ways, I suppose. I mean, nobody wants to be on the end of a 6-0 drubbing. Obviously, confidence-wise, it can have an impact on that. But at the same time, knowing Derek McInnes like I do, and a good experienced manager, he'll be looking for a reaction from his players, and I'm pretty sure that will be the message prior to the game. So that's what we're expecting. We're planning for Kilmarnock to come flying out the traps on Saturday, and we've been in games like this numerous times already this season. I liken it to the St Mirren game last Saturday. Quite a physical team, quite a direct team. You've got to do the basics well against them. And yeah, we want to perform better than what we did last Saturday. Albeit we won the game 2-0 in the end and managed to pick up an important 3 points. I don't think we gave a fair reflection of ourselves in possession of the ball, and we're looking to try and improve from that performance. So hopefully we find those improvements on the day, and hopefully we get another good result.
I know you don't really like talking about league tables and how they look at this stage in the season, but just behind Rangers, obviously, you see Aberdeen dropped a few points in the last few games. Mm-hmm. I mean, do you look, when you do glance at the league table, do you think we could catch Aberdeen, catch Rangers?
I don't look at it like that, and you're trying to put words in my mouth, Tyrone. I know what you're like. We would certainly make for good headlines if I said yes to that question. So no, I don't. I'm not really focusing on the league table right now. Genuinely, I'm not. It's far too early. I've been here before as a manager. In my previous club, I was sitting third in the table in January, and then came back after the World Cup break, and things went. I'll try to think of a better word than the one I had in my head there, but things went pear-shaped. So you can't underestimate the opposition in this league. You cannot take things for granted. I've got good experienced players within the group that understand that these things can happen. If you do get complacent. So the message is the same week after week after week. Take it one game at a time. We know that there'll be a time in the season where we go through a difficult patch ourselves, and we maybe don't get the results that we want or deserve. And it's how you come through those difficult moments. And at the moment we're going well. Things are ticking along nicely. We've had to overcome some injuries to serious players as well, and we've still managed to pick up results without some key players, so that's credit to the group. But just taking it one game at a time. We're coming into this busy schedule now over the festive period where, once that is done, then I think you'll have a better reflection of what the league looks like when we go into February.
What's the team news?
It'll be a similar squad to the one that we had against St Mirren. The game will come too soon for Trapanovsky, Docherty, and obviously Sibbald is we're looking at kind of middle of January for Craig.
Just on Ross, he's such a big player. He was last season. How frustrating has it been that you haven't been able to call on his services? And what is the actual issue with him, and when do you hope to have him back? Yeah, look, it's frustrating for everybody. For me as manager, obviously, you want to have your best players available, but equally frustrating for Ross, because he came to Dundee United to play in the Premiership. He's one of the best midfielders in the Championship over the last 6-7 years, and that's why we brought him to the club. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to show that consistently due to the injuries that he suffered. It's a calf strain that he's struggling with at the moment. We think he's on the right side of it now. We think he's not too far away, but I don't want to put a time scale on it right now, because I want to give him as much time as possible, that when he does return, hopefully he's going to stay fit and contribute to the team.
Jim, you go into the game on the back of 4 games unbeaten. How important is it that you try to keep that going, given in the league, other teams are maybe starting to find their form? We saw Hibs last week, and Dundee climbing the table as well.
Yeah, look, we don't focus on anybody. We're not looking over our shoulder. We're not looking up. We're just looking at the next game, and we don't spend too much time dwelling on the previous one. We had a really good result against St Mirren, kept another clean sheet, scored a couple of goals, but as soon as you get to 5 o'clock on the Saturday evening, you're moving on to the next one, and the next one for us is Kilmarnock. And as I said, Kilmarnock obviously going through a little bit of a difficult patch at the moment, but I've got no doubt with the quality of manager that's there and the experience that Derek has got, added to the the level of player that they've got available to them, I think Kilmarnock will turn it around. I've got absolutely no doubt about that. I said that last week about Hearts and Hibs. I look at the squads that those two teams in particular have got, and I'm expecting those teams to start picking up some serious points over the next couple of months as well. So, the league is so competitive that there's such fine margins on any day. I felt the first goal against St Mirren was going to be vital. Had they got it, they possibly would have went on and won the game. We managed to get our noses in front and then defend, and that's been kind of pretty much how the league has panned out. There hasn't been too many teams getting ran over the top of on a regular basis, and I think you see that from some of the results. We're all capable of beating each other. It just sometimes boils down to what happens on the day, and of late, we've been doing well. There's a lot of confidence within the group, a lot of individuals playing really consistently well, but the team as a whole, the squad, as everybody's contributed, and that's what we will continue to ask for.
It must be difficult as a manager with the teams being so close, but how intriguing and exciting a league is it shaping up to be for Scottish football as a whole? Yeah, I think it's great for the game. Obviously, I think everybody would agree that Celtic are out on their own at the moment. But look at the recruitment that Brendan Rodgers has done there and the quality of the signings, and when we're going into this busy schedule, we've got 7 games in the space of 3 weeks, and we've at the moment got 19 players I think available. You look at someone like Celtic, they could change the whole 11 from a Saturday to a Tuesday, freshen things up, and still have the best team in the league. So the rest of us don't have that luxury, and we have to work with what we've got available to us and try and get the best out of the group. And I don't think there's a great deal between the other 11 teams in the league, to be perfectly honest, and I think we've recognised that in the games and the fixtures that we've played. Everything has been really, really tight, but we're happy with what we're doing up to now. We just need to make sure we can maintain that for the weeks and months ahead. And just on the cup draw, obviously you face a Dundee derby. You won't be thinking about that too much just now, but how nice is it to have that to look forward to?
I think it's a great game, yeah. I mean, it's no doubt, the tie around, and a really exciting one for the players and for the supporters to look forward to. We play them, before that game as well. I think a couple of weeks prior to it. So, it's going to be an interesting fixture, that's for sure. And we're all looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've spoken a lot this season about sort of versatility and the fluidity that you want within your squad, and we spoke to Lucas Stevenson earlier, obviously starting the season out in kind of right wing back role with Ryan Strain with his injury, now kind of playing further forward in midfield. And is that perhaps the role you had in mind when you kind of looked to bring him to the club this summer?
Yeah, I mean, we probably have the smallest squad, I would imagine, in the league. I think if you sit and look at the numbers available to other squads, and we knew that was going to be the case in the summer. We knew that we were going to have to reduce the budget from what it was last time when we were in the Premiership, to try and make things more sustainable. And in doing that and reducing the squad numbers, then we had to make sure we signed good utility players that can play a number of different positions, and we benefited from those types of signings given the kind of injuries that we've had of late, to the likes of Docherty and Sibbald and Louis Mould, Trapanovsky, Ross Graham obviously missing a number of games. So we've got certain players in the squad that can play 2 or 3 different positions and play those positions really well. So that was an important strategy in the recruitment process.
And in the last 2 home games, 5 goals scored, 0 conceded. And just how important is it to you that the Tannadice is a venue that when other teams see that coming up on the fixtures, it is a difficult place for them to go?
Well, I think it's really important that you make your home ground a difficult place for opposition players to come, and I think we've certainly done that this year. Last season it was different. Our away form was excellent, and the home form maybe not where we wanted it to be. But this year so far it's been great, and a lot of that is to do with the great support that we've had from the fans. Getting behind the team, really positive. I know that's easily done when your team is winning, but we will, as I said to a previous question, have some difficult moments along the way between now and the end of the season, and the supporters are going to play a big part in making sure they're encouraging the team and getting the best out of the players. But yeah, we need Tannadice to be a difficult venue for opposition teams.
Thank you.
Luca mentioned earlier on how much he personally benefited from his time here at Dundee United and where it's taking him individually. Do we feel that you're pleased with his performances, and has he exceeded your expectations when he signed on in the summer?
Well, he hasn't exceeded expectations, to be honest, because I knew we were getting a real quality player. We've done all the necessary homework that we could do in terms of Lucas as an individual, as a character, and our head of recruitment, Michael Kearney, had seen him numerous times playing for Barrow. I'd watched him plenty of times playing for Liverpool's under-23s as well. He's played midfield coming through the Liverpool Academy, and then went to Barrow as a midfielder, but then found himself playing right wing back due to an injury. And he can play either position really comfortably. He can also play right back in a back four. So he's been a breath of fresh air since coming in. His attitude in training is exemplary, so consistent on a daily basis, and then on a Saturday when it matters most, he gives you absolutely everything he can. He's chipped in with some really important goals, and just a real team player, and I don't think you can have enough of them.
Looking to the draw that came out on Monday that was there, probably, as you've said, the tie of the round, is it difficult to keep players focused on it being the next game that's more important when you get a tie like that come out of the draw?
No, I mean, look, we've got a lot of league fixtures before that cup game against Dundee comes around, but of course, the players were watching the draw, and I think we'd all admit that we're hoping for a nice, easy home tie if that could be the case. But when it comes out, the Dundee derby, then I think it's a game that's that's exciting for everybody involved, and the players know exactly what that fixture means to the supporters and to the city. The game we played at the early part of the season was a really exciting one, a full house at Tannadice, and I would expect another full house at Dens, and I would imagine that game will be live on the TV as well. So a great opportunity for both sets of players to show a good audience what a good team they're capable of being.
Sam Darby's picked up the Player of the Month this month. William Hill coming back from injury. Is that a combination that you'll see both these finishers at some point playing, and does it excite you that that's an option that you have?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both Sam and Louis have played together in a partnership before and been successful. Sam has hit a really good run of form with the amount of goals that he scored and the amount of big performances that he's had. But we've been really flexible as a team all season. We've been playing a 3-4-3. Sometimes we've been playing a 3-5-2. There's been times like we went to Ibrox and we changed to a back four. And I think it's really important that the group are able to have that flexibility. I think it's also good that opposition teams don't know from one week to the next what way you're going to go, so it's very difficult for them to plan and prepare, and to have a striker of Maltese quality available again after the injury that he's had is really important for us, because when Louis was out we only really had Yort and Sam, and of course then young Sturton came into the fold. But we're pleased to have him. He's an experienced striker. He knows what the league is all about, and he's already got himself a couple of goals.